Welcome to the Wish I'd Known Then podcast. I'm Sarah Rosette.
And I'm Jamie Albright. And this week on the show we have
Jill Shalvis.
Yes, we do, y'all. I'm so excited. It was really good.
Yeah, a little fangirl going on.
Yeah, Jill's one of the OGs. She started writing when she was like 10, but yeah, it's a really great episode. And she has been doing this a long time. She was traditionally published. Her last traditional published book came out in, what did I say, May of this year, I think?
May or June, I think. Maybe
Yeah,
June.
May or June. And then she put out her first indie book about a little over a month ago. It's done really well.
We talked to her about writing rules and whether or not you follow them and how that can hold you back.
Yeah.
And POV, a lot about moving from trad to indie. It was really good. We should say real quickly that this episode is sponsored by Ingram Spark. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. That's coming up. What have you had going on?
I have been revising, and then I did my first launch workshop yesterday. That went well. Claire Taylor was on the call, and she's given me some pointers for teaching on Zoom because that's kind of a learned art. And the thing is that I know the content that I gave was good content, solid, but it is learning to, when you don't have an audience. I mean, you have an audience.
It's a different feeling.
It's different. And you would think doing the podcast, I would be used to not getting that reaction, but it's hard. It's also tricky getting people to interact because all they have is the comments. Anyway, she gave me some pointers and I'm very grateful for that. I asked her, but yeah, it was great. And I'm doing another one on September 14th. And there's still space available in that one if you're interested. And Sarah popped in yesterday and talked about launching to her store. So that was very helpful because I don't do that.
Yeah. So that is basically what I've been doing for this last couple of weeks is I launched the book to my direct sales store, to my Shopify store, and it's done really well. And I've treated it pretty much like I would treat a Kickstarter. I've done all the different promotion. I broke it out each day. I sent an email to my list, and then I have Mystery Books podcast that I do. So I did a special episode kind of behind the scenes, launched that either a day or two later. And then I sent an update to the previous Kickstarter campaigns that I'd done, which I didn't realize. I mean, I was like, I knew you could do that. And I think I just completely forgot to do it last time. I did a launch on my store. And Kickstarter audiences, they are interested in buying from you because as soon as I sent that, I started getting sales. I mean, like I had sales before, but I could really tell like, oh, this email went out and these people, they want the special edition.
It was like 50 people or something, wasn't it?
It was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot of orders. Not everybody ordered the hardcover, but some people ordered the ebook, some people ordered the audio. But I mean, it was a significant surge. I was like, okay, that's definitely something I need to remember to do. Don't forget to do that if I do that again. And then I did social media platforms. And then I had something else on my list that I was doing. Oh, I'm also sending out some print books to bookstores for when the launch goes to retailers. I'm going to go ahead and send those out now so that they can have them. That is what I've been doing. And it's actually gone really well. I was nervous before I sent it out. I just get nervous because I feel like, oh, is it going to do well? Is it? And even if nobody orders it, it's fine. I can still release it on the retailers, but all that work, doing all the special edition stuff, you kind of want people to buy it.
Yeah, you don't.
And they're enjoying it. So that's good.
That's good. Well, we should also mention last week we were talking about a name for our audience and stuff. And Inez Johnson sent in her suggestion, which I believe we should go with, which is know-it-alls. You all be the know-it-alls.
I think that's fantastic. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Exactly.
We don't have any new supporters this week, but thank you to all our continuing supporters. You are the ones that have been faithful and true and kept us going and really motivated us to keep going because we just appreciate your support and we know that you like what we're doing and it's helping you and we just appreciate it. So if you want to support the podcast, you can go to wishidknownforwriters.com/support and you'll get access to the backlist of supporter episodes, the private Slack group, and a shout out in a future episode.
Yeah. And we really do appreciate it. As I was saying, when you do a podcast or anything online like this, it is a very one-sided conversation. And so your support really does show us that you appreciate what we do. And if you'd like to support, we would really appreciate it. And just follow that link Sarah said, because I can never remember.
They become one of the know-it-alls. But in addition to our supporters, we also have a corporate sponsor this week. It is Ingram Spark. And we both use Ingram Spark. We love them. They do a great job getting our books out to libraries, bookstores, places that it's really hard to get into if you don't have Ingram Spark. Definitely check out Ingram Spark if you haven't before.
That's right. They're great. They have really made things possible for indie authors that aren't possible anywhere else. So we really appreciate them.
Our sponsor this week is Ingram Spark. You have a story, share it with the world. Ingram Spark offers everything you need to publish, promote, sell, and print your book. Reach millions of readers worldwide with powerful tools created for independent authors. Get started for free at ingramspark.com/learn more. Today, we are really happy to talk with Jill Shalvis. Hi, Jill. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
We're glad you're here. It's a little bit of a fangirl moment.
Oh, that's cute. It's so funny because we've had lunch and just chatted and we didn't even talk about books.
No, we didn't. We didn't. But yeah, it's really exciting. I've been reading Jill for a long time. So
thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Let Sarah read your bio and then we'll get started.
Alrighty.
New York Times and USA Today bestselling author Jill Shalvis writes contemporary romance and romantic comedies filled with madcap adventures, shenanigans, and sexy times. Just don't tell her mom. She's sold over 20 million copies worldwide and lives with her family in a small mountain town near Lake Tahoe full of quirky characters. Any resemblance to quirky characters in her books is mostly coincidental.
That's right. You always have to put that in there, don't you?
Disclaimer.
Tell us how you got into writing.
It's funny. I was a journalism major in college and all of my life I had been writing stories, short stories, telling stories. My mom liked to call them lies, but it was, and then I went into journalism.
Potatoes.
Exactly. And I was taking a class with this really hard teacher and I couldn't get a good grade and I was used to A's. And I would bring him my stories. What am I doing wrong? And he said, you are lying. It's supposed to be, it was nonfiction, it was journalism. And I would add things in. It's just I've always done. So that's when I realized I needed to do fiction.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it was the best fit. Couldn't look back once I got started.
When did you first publish?
Right around the Ice Age. And it's embarrassing. I've been doing this for a really long time. I think my first book came out in 1999.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's good though.
Wow.
You were just a babe.
I was a baby. I started when I was 12.
Yeah.
We're going to get into more of your career and how the changes have gone in a little bit. But what is your definition of success?
Success for me is a lot of things. The most important thing I've learned is to be happy in what you're doing and not to dread going to work every day. I've been there. I think everyone's been there. That is my biggest marker of success. Am I happy doing what I get up to do every day? And since I get up to do every day, I can do in my pajamas and my bunny slippers on my deck, and I'm happy. So that's my success.
Yeah.
Now, it's also a job. So I also feel successful if I can pay the mortgage and keep the bills covered and
Yeah.
dinner once in a while. That's how I define my success.
Yeah, I remember having certain jobs that on Sunday night, I would just get this feeling in the pit of my stomach. Is like, got to go back tomorrow.
That's what we call it, the Sunday scaries.
Yeah, and I don't have that with writing. Even if it's not going well or I feel overwhelmed, I don't ever have that, I just dread this. So I think that is a great marker of success.
And there's plenty of times where I feel that dread.
Yeah.
Daily.
Well, you're sitting on your deck. I mean, her back, y'all, what's behind her is not, I wish you could see it.
I say this would be one time be good for video.
This is not a filter. I live in the woods.
Yeah, she lives.
We have 15 acres. And so we have bears and coyotes and porcupines and wildcats, bobcats, mountain lions. It's not all cute.
Right.
But it's very peaceful for me. I'm a city girl. I was born in New Jersey and I grew up in LA. So to me, this was a shock, but I love it. I won't go back.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, what do you wish you'd known about writing and craft when you started?
When I started, I knew nothing. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And there was actually an incredible freedom in that because you don't know the rules. You don't even know there are rules. And I was just clueless, really. And I think if you're a natural storyteller, which according to my mom, I have been since before I could hold a pencil, I don't know that you need the rules. So once I learned the rules, it actually scared me and stopped me in my tracks for a little bit. And I had to overcome that and I had to learn to trust my instincts. Yeah. And as women, we're not really taught to trust your instincts.
No, we're not.
So that was not natural. And for a long time, I floundered with rules. And now I don't care anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Like grammar rules or just in
just like
general.
Story rules.
And I say that with quotes around romance because, of course, I'm always going to have a happy ever after. That's non-negotiable for me personally. That's why I do this. I like life is too hard. We all need brain candy, mac and cheese, cinnamon toast. And my books, I feel, are all of our books can give that. So I'm not talking about a happy ever after. I'm talking about the structure, whether you plot, whether you don't plot. Everyone has what they believe is true. And my thing is, I think everyone has their own path to writing. Just have to learn to trust it.
Yeah, you do. I was with our friend Lucy Score over the weekend, and another friend of ours was with us. We were at a retreat, and the other friend is like, she's not really a heavy outliner, but she maps her story out. But she taught classes on how to craft a story and create a story and everything. And she was talking about stuff, and Lucy, she plots pretty extensively, but she does a lot of it by intuition, and I write by intuition as well. And so while our friend was talking about it, she and our eyes were glazing over, not because it wasn't good stuff. It's just, it boggles our mind a little bit because we don't see the story that way. We see it and it flows naturally, but it's not labeled and all of that. And yeah, when you are more of an intuitive writer, it feels overwhelming.
I have tried classes by the best.
Oh yeah, the best of the best. Yeah.
That's the best. And my eyes glaze over and I turn into that rotten student again, where all I'm doing, my ears are closed to what's happening and I'm plotting in my head in my own little way. Because I do plot, but I can't seem to follow any rules.
You're just a rebel at heart.
Yes, I am, but I don't want to be necessarily. I would love to have the magic handshake.
Right.
Yes.
Because I'll cry my way through a first rough draft. This job is not for everyone. It may seem easy and fun, but it is not, because it's all on you.
It's true.
I get lost in every book many times.
Yeah, I think there's an appeal of, oh, here's your outline. It sounds like if I just had this outline, it would be easy because then I would know where I was going and what to write. But I think if you're an intuitive writer, that doesn't help you. You either lock up and you can't even do the outline, or you spend a lot of time doing the outline and then it's not very helpful because you're off doing something else after act one.
I do break it down. I try my hardest to have it right the first time. Note to self, I've never gotten it right the first time, but having somewhat of a map does help me.
Yes.
And so I will write down everything I know about the characters. Always come to me first. I write down everything I know about the heroine, about the hero, all the way back to what their childhood was like, what their parents are like, what their romantic relationships in the past have been like, what their friends are like, because that tells you a lot about who a person is. Yeah. And I get that down. And then I know I do try to get a couple of turning points in, and then I try to break it down by scene. And I'll do all this work and it will take me a couple weeks. And then I start the book. And by chapter 3, I've veered off the roadmap. But every single time I feel like the roadmap is soothing to me, but I already know as I'm doing it, it's not going to be the end all.
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe you need that preparation with the characters and stuff. So it's not really wasted, but
no, it's my blankie.
That's your security blanket. I totally understand that. What about marketing? What do you wish you'd known about marketing?
I know so little about marketing. I've been traditionally published this whole time until very recently. And in traditional publishing, the theory is that the publisher does the marketing for you. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on them and if they feel the book or if they have someone more important than you. So really, I've been quite lazy all these years in marketing. And the only thing I've really been doing is social media. I started on Instagram because I like to take pictures. So I was putting up my writing views and that kind of stuff. And people just kept hanging around. So that was my best marketing. I had a book out. I put a book up. I didn't talk about my books very much. I talk about them a lot more now because people don't seem as interested as what Instagram used to be, where it's a marketing tool. So I treat it as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
I'm not as crazy about it anymore, but I still do it.
Yeah.
The other thing I know about marketing is that there is no magic handshake to that either. Like you can throw money at it, at the book, but unless it gets picked up in an almost viral way, like it's money just thrown into the water. So I just do what I can. I talk about it as often as I can, do a few Facebook ads.
Yep.
And hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
And write another book, right?
Yeah, and go back to writing.
Yeah.
And I know that's not the right answer. I know there are people out there, authors out there who come from marketing backgrounds or are brilliant And I, unfortunately, am neither of those. I'm not a TikTok darling. It just.
Yeah. But you have a following, and maybe you don't need to do that at this point right now, or maybe later you'll get into that if you want. But I don't know that we have to do that. I think
I'm not crazy about putting myself out there anyway.
Yeah, it might be better for some authors, unless it energizes you and gives you life. Then maybe it might be better just to write a book.
Because for me, I am a true introvert. If you opened it up in the dictionary, my picture would be under introvert. I know a lot of people say that, but for me, it's actually true. I have to get dragged out to events. I have a good time once I'm there. I could put it on for a couple of hours and be fun and have a good time. But then I need to go sleep for a week because I'm very tired. So that's another reason that the marketing part and the promo part, it's really hard for me. I would rather just write a book. I would rather do anything but talk about myself and be out there like at signings and stuff. But the other side of that is I love to meet readers, love librarians, and I love indie bookstores. So I go and I always have a good time. And then my husband always says to me, "Why were you sweating that?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but it never stops."
No, the thought of it. Yeah, the thought of it. I'm glad you know now.
I think with age came some patience. And it used to be I don't know if this was this way for you guys. When I was really young, I was really ambitious, and it was painful to be so ambitious and to not know how to get where you wanted to be. And I've just learned like everything cycles.
Yeah.
You're going to have good books, and you're going to have books that slide under the radar. And that's the stuff out of your control you have to let go of. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is to stop sweating the stuff that I cannot control. And there's so much in this, so much it's painful.
That's such a true statement. And we talk about how it's constantly changing, and the changes seem to be getting faster with all these things that are, especially with the changes in AI and all this stuff. It's a lot to keep up with just to stay informed, much less adjust your business to it.
Yeah. And there's so many books out, and it's hard to stick out. I mean, I've always said that the best marketing is a finished book, a good finished book, a really good book that you can pass out and hopefully readers will talk about and get the organic thing going. And then that's just the luck of the draw, I think, because there's a lot of really good books out there and some don't get any attention at all.
I know. And I do enjoy marketing, and I do it. I've done it a lot. But I think it just gives me the illusion of control.
Because what do you do for marketing?
I do Facebook ads. I do a lot of social media stuff. I've done group promos. I've done cross promotion. Yeah, all the stuff.
And some work and some don't.
Some work and some don't, and some work one time and then don't work the other time. So it is an illusion of control, and because really there is a lot we can't control in this business. Yeah.
What do you still need to figure out?
That's an interesting question. I would like to figure out. Here's the thing. I had a weird month last month. I finished the third book in a trilogy, which means I have to start over somewhere in a new world, build a whole new world, figure all my stuff out. Whereas I was going into book 2 and book 3 in this trilogy, it was a comfort zone because I knew the world already. And so now I'm in this weird place where I feel this gray cloud over my head. And I feel weighted down and a little sad because I have to kill those people off that I loved. And I've been writing for a year and a half and start over. I don't know what to do next. And then I turned that book in, and then a book came out, and then I went on book tour. And so I'm just in this weird place of where I'm so tired. I'm anxious because I'm not doing anything. And I need to know. I wish I knew what I don't know is what I wish I knew. What do I do next?
What do you do next? Yeah, that is always hard, isn't it? Yeah, because especially if you're writing just 3, if you're not, and for romance, it's harder to just, when you have standalones in a series, to do more than 3. Sometimes you can get 4 or 5, but it really is tough to do that.
Because readers are like, I want to pick book 5, but do I have to read book 1 through 4?
Exactly. Yeah.
You want to leave before the party's over. So that's what I did. And I'm sad about it.
You have your after party blues. Yeah.
Exactly.
What is the most unhelpful advice you've gotten?
Oh, I think the most unhelpful advice can also be helpful for certain people. It wasn't helpful for me. It was write to the market. And I have never been able to write to the market because right now the market is dark romance, mafia heroes. And I understand their place in romance, and I even like them to read. I cannot write one. And my problem is that I don't like conflict in real life. So writing conflict in these books nearly kills me because I'm writing contemporaries, and you don't have a zombie apocalypse, and you don't have someone chasing someone with a gun, and you don't have a mafia hero trying to do whatever they do. And I think that's writing to the market is both good advice and bad advice, depending on who you are. For me, it's bad advice because I can only write what I can write. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I feel the same way. I'm fortunate that when I haven't published in a while because of my sister, we talked about that. But when I was writing, that was pretty much writing to market because rom-coms were really taking off about that time. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you think about writing something just to appease a market as opposed
Because also, what if the fad changes by the time you
exactly
put it out?
You have to worry about that less than trad authors do because we can get our books out faster. Trad authors can get theirs out. But yes, it's tricky. It's a very tricky thing.
Yeah, we used to have this discussion. I write historical now, and I started with just like straight contemporary cozies. And cozies always have a hook. It's like knitting, cooking, pets, yoga, something like that. And some friends were talking about that, and they were like, nobody's written a cozy about X. I can't remember what it was, like some hobby or craft.
Plastic surgeons. Yeah.
No, that was not it. It was like maybe ice fishing or something like that, or sailing or something like that.
Yeah.
And somebody said, you could do that. And then I thought, if I do that, then I'm in this lane where I'm always writing about whatever. And if I just pick something because it's popular or it hasn't been written about before, is it really what I want to do for the next couple of years, next 5 books, next 10 books? Because mystery series can go on for a long time. So I feel like you should write what you enjoy, even if it's not the hot genre or subgenre, because you don't want to be miserable.
No, and things will always circle around, as you said earlier.
Yeah, I've pretty much always have written in some form or another small town romance / rom-com, and maybe sometimes with a women's fiction element into it. Not very, I try not to do that now because I think my heart is in the sexy small town contemporary.
Plant your flag and stay there.
Eventually it's going to come around, right?
It will. It will. What's the biggest change you've had to make in your thinking?
It's really interesting because I did leave traditional publishing last year, and I wrote this series, and the first one's called He Falls First, and it came out 2 weeks ago. And I wrote that book. I wanted to get as far from what I was doing as possible while keeping my exact tone. I feel like I have a tone that has given me somewhat of a name. So why walk away from that? So I set out to just write a small town, sexy, funny series about 3 brothers and shenanigans and sexy times. It's a very small mountain town. And that's what I did. And I had so much fun with it, but I purposely wrote first person, which I had never done before. That was a challenge. I loved it because I felt for the first time that I was really deep in the character's head, and I had never done that before. It was such a thrill, but it was also really difficult to change the mindset after a million years of writing third person. I also did this while suffering long COVID, the first book.
Oh gosh.
So the first draft was a hot mess. It took me forever because I didn't get all the he's and she's out instead of the me's and I.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did your brain default back to third person? Yeah.
Even though I loved writing first person, I wrote the whole series in first person. And now, honestly, I don't think I'll go back to third person. I can't imagine.
I know but that is very much an indie publishing sort of thing. And do you work first present or first past?
First past.
First past.
And I'm not sure that I wouldn't. I might try first present at some point, but I thought one step at a time because I felt like that would have been skipping a step.
Yeah.
It's a lot to change.
Yeah. The 5 books in my Bride series are third person, deep POV, but the 2 books in my Small Town Royalty series are first present. And it was really freeing to write that. It was just like, wow, you can be deep in their POV and you don't have to work at it. Like it is hard. You don't have to work as hard. Yeah, it was great.
Do you have 2 POVs?
Yes.
So you wrote both of those in their point of view.
First person. So I just went whatever POV I needed, whether it was hers or his, that would be a whole chapter. And then at the front of a chapter, I put their name up so you could see who was talking. Because I didn't want to confuse anybody or myself.
Yeah. So I actually went the opposite way because cozies are usually first person, or back when I started, they were. And so I went first person. I have a whole series that's in third person. And that to me was like, oh my goodness, I had to go back and check how many times I slipped back into first person. It was, and I had multiple POVs, and in my other books, I'd only had 1 POV. So I loved it. I loved the change. but it took a lot of proofreading because that one had issues.
So will you stay doing that, or are you gonna go
No,
back?
I've actually gone back to first person. Yeah, I felt like that series needed it. And then my other ones, I've gone back to first. I feel more comfortable in first person.
Yeah, I did too after 30 million years. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were starting over today, what would you do differently?
If I was starting over today, I would start with this series that I'm doing that I just did. First person, indie.
Yeah.
I would do what I want
Yeah.
versus what the publisher wanted me to do.
Yeah. That seems stressful, but I don't know. Doing indie stressful.
Yeah, there's stressful points to both. What was stressful about a traditional publisher was never knowing where you stood, always wondering if you were going to be the one picked to be the it girl for the moment. And sometimes the editing was stressful because it wasn't just your choice.
Yeah.
But the stress with indie is that there's no advance for one thing.
That is true. Yeah.
That is a downside.
And there's really no one to tell you shouldn't be doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't have that voice of reason. So I'm always wondering, should I be doing this?
Let's talk about going from trad to indie and how that has gone for you. And let's talk about first how you came to that decision and like what the process was.
I've been thinking about it for a long time, not a real long time, but a couple years, because once TikTok kind of came in and revived the book world in a pretty wild way, I was always in Walmart, always in Target with not just one book, like with 10 books, go and get my whole backlist. And that slowly changed as TikTok got bigger because they got younger writers who had a bigger backlist and there just wasn't room for the old guard, so to speak. And I was having trouble getting into those stores. But my thing was, is if I can't get print into the stores, why am I staying in trad where they have my Kindles priced at $13.99? Those numbers were non-existent. It was all about print.
Right.
And so I saw the writing on the wall and I just there was no way for me to stay under those circumstances. So I left, and now, my Kindles are $4.99. I'm in KU, and he falls first after all of these years. And I've been on the New York Times list, I've been on the USA Today list, but I've never hit the top 100 at Amazon. This book hit the top 100 at Amazon, stayed there for 2.5 weeks. And that's because the pricing was right. So I used to think I would misprint, but this week I'm thinking I don't misprint so much.
Yeah.
It's all worked out.
And in 2 months, when you get paid, you're going to really think, don't misprint so much.
I should say Source Books bought the print option, and they did print, but they also had trouble getting into the store. It did just what my typical, but if you can't get in Target and Walmart, it sold what my typical would have.
The market has really shifted.
Shifted. So I was grateful that I was in KU and that the Kindle was priced accordingly so I could still sell books.
Yeah. How did you have the courage just to take the plunge? Because it's a big step from where you came.
But I had been thinking about it for 2 contracts. I was taking 2 book contracts, and 2 book contracts ago, I said to myself, I don't see how they're going to earn out. So the writing on the wall was the next contract. I knew they would offer me less. And I thought, if I'm going to take less, then I'm going to take the big risk and jump. So I just jumped before that happened. Yeah. I just could see you can see the writing on the wall. You know what's coming.
Yeah. Because you have a trad book that came out in June, right?
I did. That was my last one.
Yeah.
I had a January and June, ending a long series, the Sunrise Cove series. And that was always going to be the end of that series. So it was just a natural thing to jump in. It just worked out to do 3 that year. I don't think I'll be able to do 3 again very easily. I think next year will just be 2.
So what did you do for newsletter? Did you spin up your own newsletter and emphasize that more now, or have you always had that?
I've always had a very robust newsletter, and I just kept that going. And when it comes right down to it, readers don't really care how you're published. They just want the book.
No, they just want your book. Yeah.
So I didn't make any mention of the change other than the price change, and that would be in KU. I did get some pushback, smaller than I thought I would, actually, about not being on Apple and not being in Nook. There's maybe 10 people out of all the people that bought. I just try to explain to those people, this is the way I have to go for now. This is the path. And you can still, on your phone, download the free Kindle app, and you can read it on Kindle. It won't hurt you. Thing if you have an iPad, because people read about it. Same thing if you have an iPad, please feel free to load this free app. Buy the book. Same price, I promise. But you'd be surprised that people want to read where they want to read. And I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
I'm noticing on your book that came out in June, the rank for the ebook is really good. So do you think this book has lifted those books?
Yes, because my trad books would never get, maybe I'd get in the 2,000 or 3,000 at pub day, but never in the top 100. And it would never stay low or high. I don't know. I always get confused. Is it high?
Stay good. That's
good. And then it would go up right away. But it's interesting being in KU and being priced at $4.99 if you aren't in KU. And also there was other weird things that happened. I got a billboard and I didn't get it. Amazon put me on their billboard across Penn Station near Times Square in New York.
That's amazing.
The book. And so that was helpful.
Yeah.
It's weird things happened.
Yeah, there are, even indie, there's still things that are out of your control.
Right.
Like you can publish it and there's great things that happen when things happen unexpectedly, or maybe somebody posts about it on TikTok. And then there's also the people that you hear about that, like Amazon crashed or something the day their book came out, and then that's a horror story. So there are things out of your control, even when you indie publish.
So many things.
But you still have a lot of levers that you control that in the past you probably couldn't.
At all. The thing you can control is your book, writing the best book that you can. And I always tell people who ask me, who are like new writers, what to do. And I always say, do another draft. If you think you're done, still do one more draft. Because it takes me so many drafts to get it right. The first draft is so rough. The second draft, I add some humor and some heart into it. And the third draft, it's just starting to make sense. And sometimes it's like the fourth or fifth draft before it's right. And so I think sometimes the mistake that newbies make is putting out a book that maybe needed another draft or two. Because the best promo is someone reading your book and saying they loved it.
Yeah.
What do you email your readers about in your newsletter? Do you have any certain style or tone or topics that you email about, or you just let them know about the books?
I think I'm lucky in one way is that the tone I speak with is the tone I write with. And I'm the one who's going to poke a funny at something sad or bad. It's just, people always say, how are you so funny in your books? But how are the backgrounds so dark? And that is the way I find the humor. I think it's a thick thing, but you have to have been in the dark times to find the humor.
Right.
And so
I agree.
That's where I come from. And so I can never not just be my tone. And so my tone being my tone in the books and in my newsletters, I think marries the two. So I always start the newsletter out with something that's happened in my life, or a picture from, my stupid dog hanging upside down or whatever. And then I try to put in like a funny quote from the book, and then I drop the links. I try not to make them long.
Yeah.
Just like short and sweet. I know you're busy. This is what I'm doing. Please buy my book. Bye. You know?
Oh, slice of life stuff is what I do, because my books read like a slice of life. Yeah.
And that I think people like that.
Yeah.
If they're your readers, they like it.
Yeah.
Sarah's readers will probably hate my newsletter because they like a different tone to theirs. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you write your newsletter in a mystery tone?
Yeah, it's close to my books. My main character right now is British, so it's definitely not British, but I do share more bookish stuff than personal stuff. And they're interested in that and the background of the stories and stuff like that. So a little bit less about me and more about books and reading and things like that.
I think whatever works for whatever you're writing, if you can match that tone in your newsletter, that's the winner.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. This has just been so great. And we love to ask all our guests, what do you think the best thing you've done to set yourself up for success has been?
Oh boy. I think it's very individual. I think everyone has their own thing. Some people, their office has to be in a certain way, and you have to have certain things. Me, ADHD, unmedicated, I travel with a laptop and that's it. So I go to be successful in my writing day. I go to the lake, I go to the river, I go out in my backyard, sit on a rock and watch the river go by and write. And so I think you have to find out what your thing is that makes you successful. I have a goal every day. You guys probably do too. Say I want to do 2,000 words today. That's my goal, to be successful. I know I have to grab my laptop, my iced tea, my earplugs, sunglasses, and a dog and go somewhere. Because if I stay here, I will be distracted.
Yeah, Jamie likes to go and write in other places, right?
If I stay home, I'll find something else to do. Or the sofa just looks real good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where can people find out more about you and your books?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I have a website that has a blog. I'm on TikTok. I'm not very good at it, but I'm there. And that's about it. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do a lot of giveaways and sneak peeks.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. This has just been great.
Thanks for having me. It was fun to talk to you guys.
Sure.
Yeah. We will have all those links at wishidknowforwriters.com. If you want to support the show, you can go to that same link /support. And we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening today. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, Ingram Spark. Go to ingramspark.com /learn more.